Ladies and gentlemen, you're taking out a separate sheet of paper. You are writing your name on the top of the paper. You are writing test corrections for heat. You can write TC, or you can write test corrections. First and last name, always, thank you. You are writing the period, which in this class, it happens to be 2. You are writing the date that it's due. And it's due on 3, I believe, 14. That's a Tuesday. So you have a lot of time to do this. I'm posting the video. That's not correct?
Yes.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15 it's due. 3:15. Sorry, that looks ugly. But we got the idea. Oh. All right, 3:15 it's due. All right, we're good to go? Now, you look at the first question you got wrong. You have to write the whole question out. So number 1, you write out the question. You write the correct answer. The correct answer, please. Correct answer. And then why is it correct? I am going to give you the whys for this test. In the future, you're going to have to do the whys yourself. My suggestion to you is that on all your new tests going forward, you should annotate. So it's write out the question. 2, the correct answer. And 3, why. An explanation as to why it's correct. So let's do number 1 together, because a lot of you got number 1 wrong.
What?
Number 1. How is heat defined? So, definition of heat. That comes straight from your cards. If you got this wrong, I'm going to cry. But a lot of people got it wrong, so I guess I'm crying. Heat is the total kinetic energy of a substance. Why is that correct? Because temperature is the average kinetic energy. This is the why. The purple is the why. If you got this wrong, you're writing. How is heat defined? So that would be number 1. The number 2 would be the total kinetic energy of a substance. The number 3 would be temperature is the average. You don't have to write heat as the total again. That would be redundant. Is that the only one you got wrong, Jaylene?
3.
Number 3 you got wrong? Yeah, why? You wrote solubility. Solubility is the ability to dissolve. That actually could be, I could see solid will dissolve in a liquid, the solute, but that's not what the question is. Number 2, if you got this wrong, what unit is used to measure heat? Celsius. Celsius
Calories.
is the SI unit for heat. If you got this wrong, that's your Y. SI is System International, which means that the country doesn't necessarily have to use it, but international means the whole world uses it as a whole. It's known worldwide. All right, number 3 for Jaylene. I'm annotating. The word property means characteristic. It means I have to make an observation. So, which property of a substance indicates whether this substance is a liquid or a solid? Well, when a substance changes from a solid to a liquid, what's happening? It's melting. That's the why. The answer is melting point. Delonte got this right. And the answer is melting point, and the reason why is because it's changing from a solid to liquid. Flexibility is just malleability. That's a property, but malleability means change shape. Are we talking about changing shape? No, we're talking about changing phase. And we're talking about changing kinetic energy. Solubility, we're not changing phase. We're just dissolving. And electrical conductivity, we're not changing phase. We're just letting electricity run through us. So the only answer that could be correct is melting point. You ready for the next one? And not necessarily ready because you're going to watch the video at home. Number 4. I would underline air temperature increases. I would underline daylight hours increase. They're both increasing. When two variables increase, the graph is direct. The purple is your y. Which one shows two variables increasing? Number 1. The two variables that are increasing are daylight hours and temperature. All right, good. If you need time, this is homework. So start writing your questions. Yes, ma'am. If the question is crazy long, just like this. Which graph shows the change? You need to write enough of the question so that you understand what you're doing. Ready for the next one. Copper is a metal. Copper is a metal. We know the properties of metal include conductivity. They're good conductors. So the answer would be choice 4. You need to write the question, the answer, and the why in order to get credit. You don't want to get a 0 on a quiz grade. You have a lot of time to do this. You have Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night.
Wait, why are you studying? How come we're not can do it now?
You're doing it now. You're going to do whatever you can do now, right? All right. Number 6. Compare to the particles in a solid. Particles in a liquid. So we want to compare the liquid. You have to be able to read properly. The liquid. Does it have a lower temperature? No way. Does it have less kinetic energy? No way. It has more kinetic energy. Why? The why is liquids have more kinetic energy because they move faster. That's the why. So right now, you might not be keeping up with me, but just know the right answer and then go back to the one that you had before. You can always watch this online. Which process must occur for clouds to form? Clouds forming mean the gas turns to a liquid. That's condensation. So your Y is easy. Gas to liquid. That's 3 words. Number 8, your Y is easy too. Solid. Molecules are the closest. Which picture shows the molecules are the closest? Number 2. How are we doing so far?
Wait, can you wait?
I'll pause right here so that when placed in direct sunlight, which object will absorb the most visible light? Well, visible light is energy on the electromagnetic spectrum. Absorb means to take in. We learned this from the waves unit, that dark black takes in everything. Dark colors take in everything. Rough textures also absorb. So the black sweater is the correct answer because it's dark and has a rough texture. Glass is smooth. Smooth things reflect. You can write this both down. This is your why. Smooth things reflect. Next question, number 10. You know the correct answer. Just circle it and you can go back to it. During which phase change is energy absorbed? We know the word absorbed means take in. Write it down. Absorbed means molecules move how? Faster. A lot of you got this wrong. You have to process. You have to actually think. And if you just guessed, what's not helping you? That's what we do sometimes in this class. We guess because we don't want to have to use our brains. The only way you're going to get a job in the future is if you actually think and you process and you do problem solving. Because we have Google now. You don't have to memorize anything. Look it up. You have to learn how to apply your knowledge. So you have to have the knowledge for your test, you have to apply it. If I do not know how to do something, I look it up, but I also have to apply my knowledge. So, liquid to gas means the molecules are moving faster. Number 11. Which example best demonstrates conduction? It's going to be 3. Why? Because conduction is direct contact. Conduction, the molecules or the particles need to collide. They need to touch. If you got this wrong, circle the correct answer, Rico, and then tell me why. The purple is the why. Right now, circle the right answers if you got them wrong. Number 12.
Wait.
I'm not going anywhere.
Open up, wait a minute.
Number 12, the diagram below, shows a Bunsen burner. The circles are showing me rise and what? Fall. Convection moves molecules up and down. So the answer, all you have to, if you got this wrong, all you have to do is write this part. Which process is responsible for the transfer of heat? Convection. Why? Because convection moves the molecules up and down.
Wait, can you scroll back up?
No, because you're going to do that for homework.
I think at the end of the word.
So, but you got the answer.
Actually, you know why?
You need the why. Conduction is direct contact, touch. All right, number 13. If you got this wrong, you really can't give me a why. Label the graph. Label the graph if you got this wrong. Solid. Starts off least amount of heat. Molecules are increasing kinetic energy until they get here. Then it starts to melt. The intermolecular forces are stretching apart. It starts to melt. This is not water. How do I know? Because it doesn't melt at 0. So 0's out. It doesn't melt at 18 over here. 18's out. It doesn't melt at negative 30. Negative 30's out. You go to the melting, go across, and then you have to infer what number this is, negative 10. If you got this wrong, label the graph, please. There's no why. You have to label the graph. No, you got to label this graph. Solid, liquid, melt.
How do I label it?
Copy what I have on the board. I just went over it.
Yeah.
You label the solid.
Like on the test?
And yeah, right on the test. The liquid and where it melts. In a convection current, hot air will rise because it what? You have to know what convection means. Conduction, convection, rise. Radiation, wave. Convection means to rise. What's rising? Hot air. Why is the hot air rising? Because it's less dense. Why is it less dense? Because the molecules are spreading apart. They're less compact.
Go.
How are we doing? Do we understand this? Is anybody upset with themselves because they didn't read the questions right?
No. No, I'm just
We're okay?
No.
All right.
No.
15 was a waves question. Refraction is bending of light. I'm moving forward to 16. 16.
Wait, I'm reading.
15 is refraction, bending of light. Diagram below shows a model of gas. Gas is moving fast. Christian, you need this one too. When the molecules slow down, they remove heat. They don't just freeze in midair. Yeah, because you said they froze in midair. They don't freeze in midair. They become a solid. So removing heat. Freezing is solid.
Bro, you late.
Yo, bro, we cheated.
It becomes a solid, and when it becomes, it's gonna be a test, sweetheart.
The dollar.
That picture.
But forward.
Honey? So the why for this is gas becomes a solid. What does a solid look like? Solid is compact.
Wait, did I have to do the screenshot?
No.
No.
You could have, but it's easier this way. Thank you, baby.
I just realized that I just have to write the odds.
You have to write the questions out too, baby.
No, I'm saying I have to do that.
At home. Yes. All you have to do is write the whys now, and for homework you write out the questions. So you're not going nuts. All right. Energy from the sun reaches the earth mainly by the process of radiation. Why? Because the sun gives off electromagnetic waves, and all of the waves are radiation. If they're done with their test corrections, they're doing math. You want to do math? Because you can't do this right now. Do you want to do a different topic?
Yeah.
Water vapor changes to liquid water. Water vapor is a gas. Gas changes to liquid. What is that called? Condensation. Thank you. Condensation is gas to liquid. Number 19. The aluminum bar is a metal. Metals are good conductors. Heat moves from hot to cold. Over the next 15 minutes, what's going to happen? Temperature of A will decrease, B will increase because heat moves from hot to cold. Are we good?
No, I get it. Wait for.
Yes.
Right, though. Why?
The Y is heat moves from hot to cold. That's the Y. All right. Are we good? Next one. 20. Temperature changes. Why? Because of conduction. The aluminum bar touches the water. It makes direct contact. There are collisions. If you touch the bar yourself, you would have felt the heat. Number 20 is 2 because the aluminum bar touches the water. Number 21. If you got this wrong, make the graph. You make the graph like this.
How would you explain it?
I'm going to show you.
In like words.
You don't have to do it in words, you can do it in a picture. Watch. The graph is always the same, it's a staircase. You always make the staircase. The first diagonal in the staircase is always a solid. The second diagonal is always a liquid, the third is always a gas. Your phase changes occur on the straight line. The straight line is going to be melting. The next line is going to be boiling. What's in between is a liquid. So your number has to be in between. Rico, you got this? And that's 80.
I did this, miss.
Okay, I'm recording this. Number 22. A wet shirt dries. Why? Wet means water is a liquid. Liquids turn to gas. It gains heat and evaporates. The Y to this one, if you got it wrong, is liquid to gas. You write that question statement down.
Oh,
That's the Y.
Of course, I read this.
Number 23. Heat energy. If I give it more heat, what's going to happen to the molecules? They're going to increase. It's a direct relationship. The Y is heat energy increases when motion of molecules will increase. That's a direct relationship. So, heat, more heat makes molecules move faster. So which picture shows that? Why? You didn't understand it? How many people thought that the wording on this test was a little more difficult than the last test? Okay. If I keep giving you easy tests, am I challenging your brain? No, you're not going to grow. The only way you're going to grow is if you get challenged. And you're never a failure until you stop trying. So, what's the beauty of this class? We talked about it before. Do all your work and your tests don't matter that much. They matter, but doing all your work is showing me that you know this stuff in a different spot. Danny does a lot of work. Do your grades and your tests match? What's your grade right now? Like a 90 something, right?
89.
89. You probably have a 90 by the end. Did you get a 90 on this test? No. Are you okay? Yeah, because you know that you're a smart kid and that you work really hard. So it really doesn't matter what you get in your test. Yes, ma'am. Of course you can. All right, you ready for the next one? 24. Ready, Chris? Did we get this one right? The air is hot. So what does that mean? Hot means heat. The pinwheel is moving. The pinwheel is moving. The pinwheel means mechanical energy. Here's the Y. I wrote it for you just now. What's the Y? Heat makes the pinwheel move. Moving is mechanical. Heat to mechanical. Write the Y. Oh, good. He got it. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
Why was it there?
Shh. It's not your business. You take care of you. A wooden handle. on the end of a pot is an example of an insulator. Insulators block heat. Conductors transfer heat. If you got this wrong, expansion needs heat. Calories need heat. Calories a measurement of heat in food. If you got this wrong, insulators block heat. Write it down. How we doing? 26. An inflated balloon is placed in the freezer. You're just going to peek at the balloon. You're not taking it out of the freezer. So what happens to it? It's going to get smaller because cold makes things contract. Removing heat. When you remove the heat, they get slower and closer together. Yes, Delonte, I love that you raised your hand. All right, I'll check it at the end, and you'll get a better grade. All right, number 27. What evidence is showing a phase change? Well, number 4 is telling us it's evaporating. That's the only one that's evaporating. This is your Y. Look at how long it is. One word. The Y is evaporation.
Am I putting paper decorated?
You didn't hand it in yet. You weren't here yesterday. The pink paper, you gotta hand it in. Just put it in the bucket. Olivia. Good. That means you got 6 more points. Add plus 6. Yeah, because you do your scantron very light. We need to fix that for you.
Oh.
I was hoping that was your case. All right. Number 28. Each substance is cooled down. What does that mean? Less heat. If there's less heat, the molecules are going to move slower. So we know we can cross this one out. And we're going to cross this one out. Is it a chemical change or a physical change? Did we get something new? No. So it has to be physical change. Nothing is new. Nothing is new. It's just less heat. Molecules slow down. You write the blue for your Y. Number 29. Which substance will evaporate at 100? You go up here. Evaporate means to do what? Boil. Disappear. Water evaporates. Boiling and evaporation equal each other. I'm very sad right now because you're being very fresh. Stop it. I still love you. I'm just saying. All right. What is the freezing point for water? Freezing point and melting point are equal. Freezing and melting are equal. They're on the same thing. So what's the freezing point for water? 0. All right. Let's go. 29 is 2. Oh, where's 29? No, I did it. 29 is water because boiling equals evaporation. All right, this is what I need for you guys to do this next one. What evidence? A lot of people got this wrong, and I just gifted you the right answer. You would have got 2 points off. What evidence? Evidence means give me an observation. So the ball doesn't fit is an observation. If you put expand, I would have given it to you, but you don't. There's no observation of it expanding. The only observation you have is the ball doesn't fit after the heat. The ball doesn't fit after heat. The next question, 32. That's when you write expand. Why doesn't it fit? Because the molecules expand. The molecules expand, that's why it doesn't fit. Yes, sir. Perfect, and you get 100. Heat makes things expand. I know, I was very sad about that. Heat makes things expand. Why is this not chemical? It's not chemical because we're not getting anything new. A lot of people got this wrong. Chemical change requires a new substance to be formed. Chemical change makes a new substance. Nothing new is formed. The next one is expand, the one before it. Makes a new substance. Physical change equals nothing new. No new properties. Properties stay the same. We don't lose the property. Next page. A lot of you got these wrong because you didn't draw it right. All right. You could have picked a phase change. You could have written melting. Not really freezing because nothing is freezing here. It's melting or evaporating or condensing. Now, what do your molecules look like? Is it a B day? A day. Oh. Me. All right, that's a solid. And the liquid is a little bit spread out. You want your molecules to spread out. If this is melting, that's what it looks like. If it's evaporating, you have to do liquid to gas. You have to write the molecules, particle position. All right. That's a long video.